Good afternoon, Socorro, and happy Independence Day. I'm Rio Sessions.
And I'm Melina.
As many of you have heard at this point, on July 1st, the New Mexico Tech president, Dr. Mayhar Amouzagar, has resigned. We are coming to you with a special summer broadcast to give everyone a bit more clarity on the situation. KTEK has been working hard to find official documents and speak to those involved to help shed light on what could have caused the president's sudden resignation. Tonight, we will walk the timeline of events that took place over the last 2 semesters that appear to have led up to where we are today. To provide context, we will first discuss the recent controversies surrounding Western New Mexico University. In November of 2024, the New Mexico Office of the State Auditor Special Investigations Division announced that it had found university management and WNMU's Board of Regents misusing university funds. Between July 1st, 2018 and June 30th, 2023, both bodies were found to have misused over $360,000 toward travel and lodging, non-compliant with university policies, purchasing custom furniture for the president's official residence, and providing purchasing cards to a non-university employee. This resulted in both President Joseph Shepard and the Board of Regents resigning from their positions. In wake of this, the New Mexico state government expressed concerns and introduced legislative plans for reform. On January 21st, New Mexico Senate Bill 19 was introduced. This bill expands New Mexico statutes annotated 1978, Chapter 21, to enforce training of all university regents, and notably emphasizes the Board of Regents' responsibility to financial management, budgeting, and fiduciary duties. Additionally, on February 23rd, New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres and several co-sponsors released a legislative package aimed at reforming higher education administration and practices, including a proposed amendment to the New Mexico State Constitution. The purpose of the legislation was to, quote, increase transparency and accountability and reinforce the essential fiduciary responsibilities of university administrators and the Board of Regents. Turning to New Mexico Tech, in a March 7th Board of Regents meeting, according to meeting minutes, President Amouzagar announced his plans to hire a vice president for university advancement as part of a comprehensive fundraising campaign. This vice president would oversee several offices relevant to fundraising, branding, and institutional growth. This position was intended to be funded as a joint appointment with the NMT Foundation. The NMT Foundation, according to their website, is a, quote, nonprofit organization established to solicit, receive, and administer private support for New Mexico Tech. Gifts to the foundation are most commonly in the form of one-time donations or establishment of endowments. The use of this entity as the source of funds for the Vice President of University Advancement appears to have caused later concern among the Board of Regents. The concern regarding this position and its funding source in the wake of the state's legislation appears to be the primary point of contention that ultimately led to Dr. Amouzagar's resignation. Later in March, the March 7th announcement, the job listing was posted. After that March 7th announcement, the search process ensued for the next month. In May, the finalists for the Vice President of University Advancement were selected and invited for on-campus meet and greets. Finally, on May 13th, the Office of the President announced the selection of Mr. Patrick Stewart for the Vice President of University Advancement to the campus community. His selection was also announced at the May 17th Board of Regents meeting 4 days later. Financial concerns about Mr. Stewart's selection caused the Board of Regents to call a special meeting on June 19th, just 4 days before Mr. Stewart's start date on June 23rd.
The purpose of this special meeting was for the regents to discuss their concerns about the new position, particularly citing concerns of financial support for the high salary president position. In executive session, they adopted a resolution titled, "A resolution providing board direction to the president regarding executive positions, including vice president for university advancement." In the first section of this resolution, the board justifies their concerns about the vice president for university advancement. They state, quote, "The board has been informed that a new vice president of university advancement position has been created and is in the process of being filled but has not been fully funded by the institution's general fund operating budget. Further, the board states that they have planned a retreat in July to address these issues that the new position was meant to address." The content of this resolution came in 5 parts. First, New Mexico Tech Board of Regents must approve all personnel actions of higher-up administration positions or staff with a salary of $100,000 or more, which includes hiring, promotions, and dismissals. Second, the Board of Regents will also monitor reorganization of budgetary units, which includes departments, commissions, or agencies that are assigned a budget, and place a hold on filling any vacancies for director, associate vice president, or vice president unless approved by the board. Third, until the Board of Regents' regular meeting in September, the president is not permitted to advertise any vacancy director, associate vice president, or vice president until approved. Fourth, the president is instructed to take corrective action and rescind any employment offer as it relates to the vice president of university advancement. This requires Dr. Amouzagar to contact Dr. Stewart by the end of the next day, informing him of the removal of his position. Fifth, the board intends to address cost-saving measures and resource allocations to address declining enrollment by the end of 2025. These stipulations drastically reduce the power of the president. In his email, Dr. Amouzagar directly credits these reductions of power to his reason for resignation. Quote, "Recent developments in governance decisions have created circumstances that significantly limit my ability to lead the institution in the way I believe is necessary," end quote. This resolution, of course, does not only impact the power of the president, but also impacts the designee for vice president for university advancement, who is already relocated and was slated to start his position on June 23rd. In Amouzagar's letter to Patrick Stewart rescinding the offer, he expressed his sincere regret and concerns about how the timing of this decision may affect the confidence in New Mexico Tech recruiting and harm the school's ability to attract a viable candidate moving forward. There are still many questions that we are waiting to be addressed, and KTEK is working hard to ensure that the community is informed. Please leave any questions in the comments and find all documents used in this video in the description. And we want to give a huge thank you to our friends at the Chieftain, specifically the editor-in-chief, Jessica Pino, for providing us with essential information for today's story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.